Welcome back to Spirit Spells and Magic, and we're in time for Imbolc, our early spring, although it's still winter. It comes just before spring, and you can see the little graphic on this Seasons of the Witch tarot for Imbolc, which I got hold of at the last minute. Couldn't get the normal deck, so I had to revert to getting this little one. So as soon as I can get the big one, I'll be replacing this. But I just wanted to have a little look at it now. Lorraine Anderson and Juliet Diaz, they're the same for the Samhain deck that I showed at Samhain. Now, as you can see from the graphics, they use fire for every Sabbath, except for Yule, I think. And they've got the candles, they've got the snowdrops, which are usually the first sign of spring appearing. The little snowdrops in the Northern Hemisphere, they used to push through the snow, so they called them snowdrops. And it doesn't look like it's Bridget, but usually Bridget's associated with Imbolc. But I'll pop that aside and we'll have a little look at the cards. Now we've got candles and a moon, and that's number 1 upside down. Amethyst. Now these pictures would be, as Samhain was, a lot of pictures were to do with autumn and kind of Halloweenish style, but these ones are for Imbolc or early spring. And I mean early spring, so it's still not quite summer or Beltane or anything like that. So it's early. There's still snow-covered mountains on number 2, which is Angelica. The bells have rung, chiming far and near. Underneath feathered wings, my dear, you have nothing to fear. It's nice. And some butterflies showing that they're coming. The flowers are out and butterflies are coming to them. No, it's probably not going to stay out like the other one did. No, I'll pop that here. Now, number 3, we have antlers on the deer. Sorry, I'll get that a bit more in focus. Allow the magic of who you are to be seen by the eyes you keep. You are enough, my dear. Take ease in receiving. Now, most oracle cards have about 44 in the pack, I believe, and I won't go through every single one because, well, if you buy you don't want me to spoil it for you. If you decide to buy it for yourself, you want to have a couple of little special surprises. But it looks like there's, 44, right, so it's like most oracle decks. Yes, and I've got a couple of others here that I've been able to get hold of that are quite interesting, and I'll show you those in a minute. But for now, we'll just concentrate on Imbolc. I thought this one was interesting, Aquarius, because Aquarius obviously is a star sign. It's my star sign. And Imbolc is generally 1st of February. Oh, I suppose that's inside the Aquarius time. I guess it's confusing for me because it's the 1st of August today and we celebrated in August, whereas February obviously would have been an Aquarian month. So that must be why they've included Aquarius in these cards. I thought that was a bit strange, but now it makes perfect sense. Now, I'll pop that in there. Arts and craft. There we go, the corn dollies. And that looks like the cross for St. Bridget, or St. Bridget's cross, or Bridget's cross. And they would hang those to keep the bad spirits at bay. We did a little episode on that a couple of years back. And how to make it. Bathing ritual. See, there's some strange ones. With you, water spirit, I wash away what no longer serves me and drink in spells that call for healing. Wow. Black bear. Black bear is number 7. And blackberries for number 8. So it's still mixing a little bit of winter with spring from what I can see here, which is basically what Imbolc is. It's the first whisper of spring coming, and it's a nice time. It's a nice time. The weather's changing, the snow's melting. If you're in an area where there's snow, usually it starts melting around the earliest part of spring. We have bloodstone. So there's quite an assortment of different pictures here, with the running theme of it still being quite snowy and blizzardy. And it's very earthy, isn't it? We've got the deer depicted a couple of times. We've got on her dress antlers. And this looks to be a fox, I think. Or wolf, fox. Bear. Well, they'll start to come out of hibernation now. Ah, there's Bridget. Right. Bridget or Bridget, depending on where you're from. We've got a really dark hair. Normally the pictures I've seen of Bridget, she's red-haired. But it's interesting to see a different take on her. Now let's see, what else have we got here? Bridget's doll. Might start to clean this up a little bit. Start putting them aside so we can fit a couple more. Tidy that up a little bit. So we had Bridget and we had Bridget's doll, and I grabbed candle dressing. We had arts and crafts. So this is very much around traditional Imbolc crafts and rituals and things like that. Making the doll. And then we had casserole. So I guess it's also about keeping warm, and obviously food warms the insides. And it was at a time where we've just come through winter, so traditionally it's been cold, it's been really frosty parts, and they would be on basically their last rations that they've been able to save from the last harvest back before Samhain, before it got cold. And I guess they'd be down to their last little scraps of stuff before hopefully spring comes and there's lambs and a lot more food in the plenty. But they'd be probably throwing in everything they had left by this stage. And they've got lavender candles, the snowballs are there. There's even a snail on the table. Interesting. Yeah, it's just really interesting to me. They're dressing candles because obviously fire is a common theme in most Sabbats because it was so important to have the sun for their crops and fire for their warmth. So those kind of symbolic characters were always there. Now I'll do cinnamon roll and then we'll skip a couple of cards so I'm not showing you everything. But just, yeah, we've got the corn dolly there. My heart, oh, warm my heart, all deserving comfort, readies my heart. Got a crow. So it's all about tradition, the old traditions for the Sabbat. Okay, so I'm going to skip a couple of cards so we're not showing you everything. I can't remember if I showed you all the cards in the Samhain deck. Hopefully I kept some aside so you had a bit of a surprise. Groundhog. So this must be kind of around Groundhog Day in America. I'm not 100% sure, but looks to me well, the story of the groundhog was that Puxatony Phil would be brought out, and upon whether he got scared or not, they'd have more winter, or winter would finish up and they'd get an early spring. So this must be around the same time. So as you can see, they've even got it spilt into America, the old Imbolc Sabbat, even though they don't call it Imbolc, or some of them may do, but as a whole country, I don't think they're pagans. But I think it's more so similar traditions have kind of come down the line, like Halloween from Samhain. So I guess Christmas from Yule, and all the other different countries that celebrated with toy giving and things like that. It's kind of all come down the line after decades and centuries and millenniums. And groundhog is just one of those things that they celebrate at this time of year. Checking to see if the groundhog's scared or if he's happy. If he sees his shadow, there's going to be more winter. So that's got to have come from somewhere. What have we got here? Horned owl. It's an interesting one. Become the shadow that watches, keeping quiet while moving intentionally. Interesting. Not too sure what the significance of the owl is, or the horned owl. House mouse. You know the things you are capable of, but are you confident in leaning into that belief? With the moon phases, and we've got all the nice pretty flowers that have come out in very early spring. House mouse. I suppose everybody from winter's been cooped up, the mice have been cooped up. Incense. Allow the smoke to reveal the truth, clearing the haze while lifting the fog. And that's the picture on the front as well. I wonder if that is meant to be Bridget. And they've got the little incense carrier. I'll get another one. Keening. Hold on for just a moment in time, acknowledging before release and liberating what needs to be freed. It's an interesting picture, isn't it? She's releasing, I'm guessing, screaming or calling out into the wild. It's very interesting. Okay, I'll fix those ones up. I'll try and keep them in order for myself. And we'll skip again to a couple of others, but Imbolc's basically that time before spring arrives, that an in-between time. It's hard to do this with one hand. Here we go. I'll skip a couple more and we'll do the last couple because it's getting on in time already. Gosh, I waffle on and I lose half the video. Weather divination. I trust in what I feel, for what I feel are signs to pay mind to. Interesting. Looks like it says Thursday. I'm not sure. I'm not too sure. Winter besom. Winter besom. So sweep away ill intent while creating boundaries weaved with protection, which respects passages of safety. Very interesting. And winter woodlands. Take time to honour what you feel. Self-compassion is the healing balm you desire. So that's quite interesting, that deck. I'd love to be able to get my hands on the full deck, the bigger one, which has got the guidebook. This one here doesn't seem to have a guidebook. It doesn't even have the QR code that you need usually to get hold of a guidebook. So don't really know, but I thought I'd like to at least have it here by Imbolc so I can show you. The graphics are the same. They're probably, if anything, on these cheaper cards, not as good as the original. So I'd always get the original rather than these ones if I can get hold of it. And it's, yeah. But also they're bigger cards too. They're like maybe not double the size, but they're a lot bigger, and you can get to see a lot more. Get to see a lot more graphic. I mean, these aren't too bad, but they do say that sometimes these cheaper cards aren't as good. They don't, sometimes they're missing patches or something. They don't have everything that's on the big one. So I would definitely buy the big one if you get a chance. It's only, what, a tarot deck these days is only about $30, range from 30 to maybe 50, 60, depending on how good they are and how well known the illustrator and maker are. But definitely get hold of the proper deck if you can. That comes with a guidebook, and you're able to then find out what all these cards mean, because they're oracle cards, so they're not like the tarot in the simple senses. You don't know, I mean, tarot's across the board, but with oracle cards, you don't know the intent of the creator of the cards. So it's always good to have the guidebook so you know exactly what you're reading. But I mean, thankfully, they give you a little passage on each card, so it's a good insight as to what the card's about, if you can understand their meaning, which most of the time you can. But yeah, I thought I'd quickly jump in with this video. I've got other ones, but I might keep those other cards for another time. But merry Imbolc to everybody in the Southern Hemisphere. And if anyone's come onto the page from the Northern Hemisphere, it's Merry Lammas and Lugnasad. And a lot of cake baking and bread making. So I guess for Imbolc, it's, you can do all the craft you like and make as much food as you can with what you believe they would have used back in the day. Straight after winter, it's early, well, it's not even spring really, it's almost spring, so they were using the last of pretty much everything they had in store, and they were getting ready, or hopefully, to start the seeding and start the planting for things that will be harvested in the 6 months, 9 months time. So it's a hard time here at Imbolc, but it's a hopeful time. It's a hopeful time. It's coming out of a winter that was very cold for many, and the promise of what's to come around the corner for summer. But I hope you enjoyed this episode. It was only a very kind of quick one and basic, but as soon as I'm hopefully on my feet proper with this channel again, there'll be a lot more to see. But for now, I'll say goodbye and see you on the next episode, which hopefully won't be 2 Sabbaths away again. And I'll see if I can get some more of these Season of the Witch cards, the proper oracle decks, so as we can have a good look at the guidebook too. Hopefully I'll have that Imbolc guidebook for the next one. All right, merry Imbolc to all, and namaste.